We're good.
Some random.
So did you ever expect Freaks to become where it is?
Like, Freaks was doing really good. Well, when I first came to Freaks, it was like 10, 14 people or anything. But, like, it just kind of, like, everything kind of went steady. And then what really happened was Nazarax suggested doing a stream. And then Nazarax started doing a stream. I was like, hey, I'm going to write some ads for it. And the ads were just, like, crazy. They were simple. And then they got crazier as time went by. And to be honest with you, the one person I think does not get credit in all this is the blow up for Freaks is, like, Murr. Because Murr held the championship, and people came here to fight him to take over Freaks. And like he'd be Kaza, he'd be Oryx. That dude was nuts.
So who actually took down Murr? Who was the first person?
Like Murr just kind of like he kind of faltered after a while. Like he lost to, I think the big one for against Murr was like Nanowar. Nanowar beat Murr, and then like someone else beat Gio, and then it just kind of ran afterwards. But like at that point, we had like 30, 40 people coming in, and just like it was consistent at that point. So it didn't matter who was the guy anymore. It's like Freaks has already established that love with a lot of people. So when top players came in to fight Murr, they were like, hey, I like this play, and they kept coming. And then like smaller people came in, and like I treat them nicely, everybody would treat them nicely. Like, hey, you know what, we'll keep coming, and just like Freaks just kind of it's consistent now, which is kind of wild to think of. Used to be like 30, 40 maybe, but or not on like a very, 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 very good day. I'm talking about like, God came down and Jesus and just people were raining out the sky, but like now it's just consistent. It's great.
That's awesome. That's great. I had the question too. How does Freaks fit in the region? Like what role does Freaks play in the region?
So Freaks played a really weird part in the region. So like when Freaks started kind of blowing up, it was like people didn't know if it counted for PR or if it didn't count for PR. But Freaks really, no matter if it did or didn't, it really kind of is like a really just chill place to come to.
Yeah.
And like we're in a bigger environment now, but like the house that we were in was very, very small. It was very intimate. So like let's say if you were like an 0-2 player and you were like talking to like I don't know, grand finals person, somebody who's definitely going to win a tournament, you were standing right next to them, you guys would have a conversation about nothing. And, like, that kind of brought a lot of people together. So, like, it was a very chill place for, like, all different types of people to mix. And then there's nothing against any other place, like Shockwave or Redline or anything like that, but I feel like when you have that type of tight spot, people forcing to talk to each other, it just, a relationship, something's got to stick. Mm-hmm. Yeah, something's got to stick, and it just became a very chill place, like, even from back then to even to now. And now we have like killers coming in.
Explain the transition from commentating in a kitchen to commentating into a designated room.
Okay, so luckily for me, I've been commentating everywhere, so that worked out. But like commentating in the kitchen first, I was like, man, this is ghetto. I can't believe this, man. Like this is wild. But you know what? We're gonna make this work. And like I would freak out in the kitchen, and the kitchen wasn't too far away from where like the stream setup was. So I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. People would be in the other room, be like, man, McBenedict's freaking out over this. And like players would be like, man, they would get hyped up about it. Like Curry, he's a resident Sonic player, amazing player. He was like, man, I just want you to commentate my set sometimes. I'm just like, man, I appreciate that. I 100% appreciate that.
That's awesome. So would you say that Freaks really helped you kind of establish that commentating aspect, or were you commentating a lot before Freaks too?
I was commentating a little bit more before Freaks, but like I think Freaks kind of how do you say, like it polished me, because there's been times where like we can't find people to commentate, and you can look at this setup on YouTube if you want to. There's Oryx versus Murr in winners finals, and like it's only just me commentating, and that's one of my favorite sets I've commentated, because the set was great. The set was amazing. Had great backstory to it. It was Murr had just came back from a hiatus. Nobody knew how good he was. Oryx was killing everybody. He was beating Light. He was beating just like he was taking red eyes, shock waves. And then Murr came back, and people were like, I don't know if Murr's got it anymore. And then Murr just was taking it to him in winners finals. And I'm commentating the whole set. And I love stories. I'm a big wrestling fan, by the way. So like I'm just commentating. I'm like, man, Murr's come back. He can do this. It's a big triumph. Glory for him, and just like it was so fun to commentate, and so much for me to commentate by myself. It really kind of like polished me in the areas like if let's say my commentator aside me is not as good, I should say, then I can really just hold my own and like make up for like maybe a lack of talent there.
Going back to roles and storyline,
Mm-hmm.
define the role as being the Freaks King.
Okay, so the King of the Freaks is something interesting that I just really just made up on the fly. So Highwayman dominated the old Freaks. Like even people don't know this, but he was my bracket demon for the longest period of time. Like I could not defeat Highway. Every time I come to Freaks, he would beat me. And Murr came to Freaks, and then Murr was just like taking every Freaks, and like I said, he kind of made that championship, that crown, and I started calling him the King of the Freaks, and people were like, man, I want, like Spark, for example, I don't know if you know who he is, but he read the thing, he was like, man, I want to come to Freaks to beat Murr, so that way I can get the throne. And it's like, that kind of like, it kind of made Murr a much bigger deal than he already was, of course. Because Murr was a big deal, but just like, the fact that he got that, like, that stage to become something more, just like, it really helped him out. And then, to be honest, I know it sounds a little bit flattering, but like I really loved Murr's run here. I think he was my favorite run as far as storylines and everything went here. I think it was like really big for all of us.
So going into more of the hierarchy, like you were saying, does that bring more incentives when people lose to someone and they turn around and say, you know what, I really want to beat this person? Is that a good incentive for a tournament to have?
Well, it's a good incentive, and just like there's a lot of things that like really push like a tournament. Like, for example, like Freaks was the first tournament that really got me into tournament. It was the tournament that just like sold me the tournament. If I wouldn't be a PR player right now if it wasn't for Freaks, the first Freaks tournament we went to, if it wasn't as good as it was, I would have never came to another tournament ever. So I came to Freaks and I was like, okay, I really like this. And the Highwayman was kicking everybody's butt. I was like, I want to be Highwayman. So not only were people nice to me, you're like, hey, you know what, you're doing good, you're great talent keep coming through. I had that person there that was like, if I beat him, I'm gonna be the guy. And that's kind of a thing that just resonates well with Freaks. I mean, we had Murr as the King of the Freaks. We had, of course, Highwayman as the King of the Freaks. I, of course, named Cheeks to now King of the Freaks. And now he's gonna be the pillar that everyone wants to beat. So it just keeps going on and on and on and on. And like, if we get somebody like, I don't know, let's say Doorman just starts running rapid, destroys everybody, he's going to be the new king himself. And it's a good title to have. It's a really, really good title to have.
Do you think there's anything we should add? Any questions you would prefer?
Ask about like community and maybe some like the players as well.
So you spoke about Murr and Cheeks and Highwayman. Whenever Freaks first had their sponsored players, what was that process like?
That was actually really, really funny. So so Redline had did a thing which is called the Invitational, where they had like a bunch of people come in after like 2 or 3 weeks of gathering points, and those 8 people competed in like a double elimination tournament. So we were like, okay, we're gonna have a sponsorship season. You have I think it was 2 to 3 months, if I remember correctly. They all fought it out. And we would like look at these people and be like, okay, you know what, this guy deserves to be sponsored, or this guy deserves to be sponsored. You had to have like good, consistent results, or maybe just like, you know, like for instance, Kiss the Highwayman, he had been the guy for so long, and we didn't want to just like turn our backs on him. So that was like a really heartfelt thing for us. Like, you know, we want Highwayman to feel good. He was having a rough time during the season. He wasn't doing anywhere as good, but we knew that he could do as good, and we were like, you know what, Highwayman, you're on the spot. We don't care what you have to say about it. And Highwayman, you know, of course, fought against us. But we were like, you know what? We love you, dog. You're going to be a part of it. And Ace was the guy that we wanted for singles. And a lot of people don't know this. I'll tell this on camera. Cheeks, I was hella against. I was super against Cheeks. I was like, no, don't put Cheeks. I don't care. Because I saw a Redline result where he went like 0-2. And Alex then reported as a DQ. So I'm like, Cheeks is like, you know, just a gust of thin air. It's crazy. He's not that good. And then like I saw him play against Dakpo. It was at end of the line. And I was like, this guy's good. And then he fought against Euro Loki, and I was like, man, this guy's really, really good. And then my opinion of him just changed. It was crazy. It was an establishing moment for him. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
No, we started going off on it. The process of the Freaks sponsored players.
Yeah. So just like people competing against each other, and just like we kept like those weeks and weeks into our minds, and like during the sponsorship season, it was like random. Like people would blow up. Like Omega, he lost to I think Little Vid round 1, and then he went from losing to Little Vid round 1 to going all the way to grand finals. He beat like Highwayman, he beat Ace, he beat anybody you put in front of him, and then he fought Murr, and Murr of course was the King of the Freaks at the time, so he was not taking L's to anybody. But even then, the fact that Omega was able to make that run, like we were just like, all right, we're gonna keep an eye for him. And then he wasn't the only one. Like he would make that run, and then like maybe I think it was like a week later, Nanowar did that run. He beat Balance for the first time, and Balance had beat me on like Friday. I was like, bro, you just beat somebody that beat me. That's crazy. I remember I picked up Nanowar or ran him across the house. It was nuts. I was super happy for him.
That's great.
Yeah.
And tying that into it, the rich sense of community, is that pretty much the foundation of Freaks?
Yeah, like Freaks is just it's community based. Like we do a lot of things for the people, by the people, and whatnot. And like, I mean, I don't get paid by these guys. I'm just really helping my whole out. Omega as well. He just helps them out a whole bunch, and just like, there's a lot of like us working together as players. They're helping, of course, the store out, and the store, of course, helping us out when needed as well. But it's just more of community working together. Like, we don't want people to come here and be like, you know what, Shockwave's like, or not Shockwave, sorry. It's super competitive, you know, just like everybody gunning for each other. We want people to come here and be like, you know what, they treated me super well, they were super nice, and like, I want to come back here because they treated me like, you know, a person, or like, they treat me like a top player, even though I'm going like 0-2 every time, or like, even though I'm going 1-2 every time. And I want that to go for everybody, from like Curry, Carner, Texas PGR players, to DFW PR, to people who aren't even considered for PR. I want them to feel comfortable at Freaks.
So, just in general, any final thoughts of the tournament? And how Freaks has played a role in your life as a competitive player?
I said Freaks has played a huge role in my life. I mean, I went to like a Shockwave. I went to like 2 Shockwaves. First Shockwave, I went like 1-2. Second Shockwave, I went like 5-2 or 4-2, I think it was. And I didn't do too bad, but like I just didn't really have a love for it. I was like, it was okay. The competitive thing wasn't really feeling it. Freaks kind of got me into it. I came to multiple Freaks to fight Highwayman, but I loved everybody that was here. And if that one Freaks that I went to, if there was no Freaks, there would be no McBenedict. I'd be probably home playing Xbox Live or doing something else with my life. So that just is how it is, to be honest with you. If Freaks did not exist, I would not be a big player. And now if you think about it, if Freaks did not exist, Cheeks would not be a PR player either. So you have 2 people that are homegrown from this place, killing it everywhere else they go.
That's great. Oh, what is the relationship between the community and the Freak staff?
It's weird. We're all just like friends. We're all just friends. Like, we all got here at like 9 a.m. and we all like, we're gonna watch the direct. We all make jokes about it and everything. And it's not just like, oh, these particular people are invited. Anybody's invited. Freaks is open to everybody. We have a Discord though that says, hey, you need to attend 1 Freaks before we just like put you in the Discord. But even then, we're like, hey, just join 1 Freaks, you're in. We don't care. If you come in to commentate, if you come in to talk to a couple people, you are a ride to somebody, and you came in like, hey, what's going on, McBenedict? Peaced out and dueled out. We don't care as long as you come and just like, you know, just enjoy the environment for a second, or just like come see the place. We love to see new faces come here. We have had a lot of new faces. We have shops, Candy, for example. We have a lot of people that come here, and we want to make sure that they feel comfortable, and we just want to have a good time. I mean, that's all we just all want to have a good time. We have stupid side brackets, man. We have absolutely just like, they don't make sense, man. Goodness gracious. We have like a crew battle. I think we had a crew battle over emote in our Discord, and we fought the war on it. I'm talking about Kaze was there, Orexkio was there. We all fought the war about it. I was commentating that stuff. We've had like faction warfare. We had like Freaks versus Frisco Frauds. That was a wild set. I commented that set with C2, PR playing Alabama, really nice guy, and we were freaking out over Highwayman's play. There's been so many things that have happened here, and so many things that have bonded us all up as a community that, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of, I don't say irreplaceable, knock on wood, but like it does feel kind of irreplaceable.
That's all. All right, good. I think that's great.
A lot of